going to be working on a knee ascender. I made this many years ago. The idea of it came from recreational tree climbing. This was like the first prototype, and nobody actually makes anything like it yet. A lot of these foot ascenders sit on your ankle, and it can hurt. And if you're injured, if that leg is injured, it's gonna be difficult. Or if you don't have the strength, you probably shouldn't be on the rope if you can't do that anyway. But recreationally, yeah, everyone's, it's good to experience stuff and have fun. But yeah, so it goes on your shoe, and then it acts as a platform that you can stand on, and then your other foot goes on the other side with the rope between it, and essentially it's a double foot ascender. It's midline attachable. Just squeeze my 11/7 rope in there. It doesn't pop out. It works pretty well, but I mean, it's made of steel. It's pretty heavy. It could be done a lot better. It could be pretty much this, but with the platform off to the side on this side, and then strapped to the side of the ankle, which I will do at some point. I might even buy a cheapie and then just weld a platform off the side of it. I don't know yet. There's a lot to work with here. For today, or at least this video, I'm going to be making a knee ascender. So yeah, let's get into modifying this into a knee ascender. My idea is it goes under there, so it shouldn't get too damaged, and it will stay on here permanently. But to keep this in the right position, I'm going to lace my boots over the top of this. That is locked in by these two buckles here. Sideways movement, yeah, not sure what I can do about that. It was still kind of loose with the laces done up, and there is this slack. It's probably the design of this. I mean, my mate gave it to me. He said he bought the wrong one. Yeah, but I like to try and fix things and make things better. Innovation, right? I just prefer to make stuff. If I can make it, why not? Why not make something? What I'm going to have to do is somehow cinch this together. Either I do some whipping with some brickies line, or I try and fold it over, cable tie it. Yeah, I could punch a hole through it, but then that might degrade over time. It turns out I had something perfect for the job. Instead of whipping it, because it didn't really hold it together, I ended up finding one of these automotive clips. I slid it over the top of the webbing, so I folded it at the right length that I needed, say like that for example. I put it in the vise. I probably should have filmed this. And then I clamped this bracket over the top of it, and then with a soldering iron I punched a hole through this webbing through the back here, with this being a guide as well. And the surface area that I gain from having this, clamping this down, is a lot better than just a regular bolt or anything, I think, for a matter of fact. I shaved the head of this down a bit for a bit more flush fitment on the boot, but yeah, I think that's pretty good. And it doesn't see any load, like this doesn't see any load this way. You only clip onto this, and then this is stitched in here, so really it's only to secure it onto the boot a bit more. Let's get it back on, eh? I think I figured out what I want to do and how I want to mount this piece and the hitch cord. So a lot of variations, but this is a 76cm hitch cord, and yeah, you just put the eye to there, and you grab your, well in this case my custom knee ascender. What's really nice about having this as a loop and this here is when you're in your position, you don't have to reach down to your foot to unclip. You can just roll this out of here give it a wiggle, and you're free. And if you can see it, there's a line here. When the rope's in here, that's where this cam comes to. So what I need to do is make a little hole on an angle, I reckon. Then put a bit of line through it so you have something to pull on to, similar to this, and it opens it. So much better being able to just pull on that, open it up. I still think the spring's a bit stiff, so I might bend that in a bit more to adjust that tension. Loving that. You might not be able to see it, but there's a tiny face. Initially I didn't plan to. It was just a hole and then another weight reduction thing there. Squeeze another one in here. It looked like a nose, so I added a mouth. And now this looks like the tongue. The concept works. I really like it, but without punching it out of aluminium from the factory, or having a die and being able to form it in one piece, it's just not strong enough. So I'll just have to make it out of steel, I suppose. I'll keep the aluminium cam though. So this version is a lot better. It's made from steel, welded up, bit of pipe, and then still got the original cam, and instead of having it wrapped around like most of these other ones for the extra support, I suppose, the strength, I'm going to try and get away with just an M6 bolt, and it's tightened up on the inside here, and on here I'll put a lock nut on there. That shaft there is solid now. If it does shear off, then I'll upgrade it to an M8, I reckon. The rope fits in there great, and the angle that engages is perfect. So if you were to pull down on that, it puts pressure on the center of this, and the cam itself is like when that grabs, it's like parallel, all that surface area grabbing on the rope. Now I just gotta decide where I want to put this spring. Do I want to put like a little bit of a lip here, or do I want to put another bolt? Or I just want to make it look clean. So once that side of the spring's retained, that's how it gets its spring. To make this lighter, I drew a bunch of holes neatly in here. So we finally got it done, I think. I'm going to go test it out on this rope here. I'm going to see if it bends, see what happens. So this is what we got. It's really just copying other stuff, but without the lip that comes over. I'm hoping this M6 bolt is enough and I won't shear it off. If that isn't, then I'll just remake the cam, and I'll drill this out to be an M8, and then I've still got enough material in here to make this an M8 as well. I might change these stainless ones out for some alloy. I'm not really a fan of alloy on metal, but it would be fine for its purpose, and it would make it a little bit lighter. I may end up doing some holes in here yet, I'm not sure, to make it lighter. The balance of it is pretty good, and the tending, I mean, it's a bit, but the spring is quite tensioned up. Once I get a bit more use out of it, I think it will become looser and looser as they wear in. To get the rope out, yeah, fold it down like that. That's the balance, which is pretty nice. Like, it's not over this way or over that way, pretty much upright, which is great for when it gets pulled up by the shock cord. And I reckon I'll get some heavy duty shock cord just to make up for the weight of this. Utilise the material to help me out a bit. Yeah, that's one component of it done. I've tested it out and it's really, really good. I'm very impressed. I'll give you a quick rundown of what I've ended up with. It's not completely finished, as I've still got a bit of adjustment left in the shock cord, but having this quite short here, as you press down into this, it stretches on you. So when you go to lift your foot back up, this stretch, it wants to go back to its original length. So it takes a lot of weight off of your hip flexors. Once I determine the length, I'll terminate this with a scaffold knot and heat shrink it like this other side. This pulley's job is just so that the shock cord can move quite freely. so there's less friction in the system. The tension on the spring, as I mentioned earlier, like it's already loosened up. I did weld it while the spring was in, that's probably the difference. But I'll show you now on an 11.7 Dongahee's Cougar rope how easy it pulls up. In fact, the shock cord doesn't even begin to stretch when this wants to tend. So when this is stretching, because of how short this is, you can imagine how much this is assisting. The rope is in the knee ascender. I'm pulling on it as if I'm loading it, so it's proper wedged in there. The cam is tight. So you can see how the shock cord barely moves. Whereas when I'm on it, in the harness and up the tree, it's moving like this much. And that's it.